Hello, good morning, everyone. This is me, Young Sean from Athena, and we are so grateful to have so many attendees to this wonderful workshop with Cynthia Hoban. So we have a few more announcements in regards to the Zoom and YouTube. I hope everyone found their way to make their connections here. We are full on Zoom, and last week we had over 300 people on YouTube live, but the rest, they could find the recordings at last. And we sent you the presentation materials that Cynthia is going to use last night, the last minute. Hope you had a good sleep digesting those, the words and wisdom. Otherwise, don't worry, she will bring it to the full brim this morning. So welcome everyone. And we are giving you a little bit more time to settle in with your devices. So first, there's a chat box on your screen. So both people from YouTube and Zoom can use the chat box to greet each other and ask questions. And on the Zoom, there is also a Q&A box. You can ask questions. Those questions will be collected by me and Jason on the other side, and we will ask key questions to Cynthia at the end of the session. So without further ado, I will run a little slideshow made by Athena, and then Cynthia will come on. This slide will run about a minute. All right, good morning, Cynthia. Our presenter is here. Just give only a few words before you start. I'm always amazed by Cynthia's energy and passion about eurythmy and therapeutic eurythmy. Last summer, we were working together in Portland, right? With all the other therapeutic eurythmists. It was a wonderful workshop, and Cynthia made a big contribution to that by working together and translating some of the presentations by Mariah Kaiser. We were working on dental eurythmy for a whole week, and so she brought her specialties and all the experiences and language skills as well. And she also helped translate some of the materials and refining and all those things, and to spread it out to other therapeutic eurythmists. So thank you for that. And without further ado, and we are going to watch and learn from you again. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, go ahead, Cynthia.
Okay, can you see me on full screen? I don't see that. I don't see me on full screen, but if you do, then we can begin. Yeah, am I there for everybody?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. All right. Good morning, everyone. And once again, I'm delighted to work with Athena, grateful for their sponsorship. And though I can't see all of you, I'm really know that you're here. I've gotten so very wonderful notes of gratitude and support from many people around the world, and to know that every single one of them touches me and gives me the nourishment to do this work. Even as I speak into the void of the internet, it's wonderful to know that my wish and vision for it to come alive across these internet miles into your lives means a lot to me. So thank you for those words. Dear friends, I feel I would be remiss if we don't take a deep breath right now and acknowledge the pain and the chaos that is in the atmosphere of our nation and of our world right now. I don't know what some of you have been through last night. Personally, I haven't seen any of this, but when I look at the news, I'm aware of what's going on. I want to be a citizen of our time. So I stand with the support of all the people who are working to create peace in our world. And I think it's important when we do our spiritual work, and that includes our work in Eurythmy, that we don't do it for our own gratification, that we do it in order to transform ourselves so that we can become real healers and contributors to the needs of our planet. There's a lot to do, and if we take our own path up consciously, we know that we can't just do it for our own advancement. We have to work on skills and power and inner alignment so that we can do our work. So I invite you to use this to center yourself in your heart, think thoughts, and be strong for whatever good deeds you are going to do. Thank you. So let's turn to Eurythmy and this practice for why we've all come together this morning. What is Eurythmy? Eurythmy offers a modern, heart-centered practice of mindful movement. In our practice of Eurythmy, we learn to consciously cultivate harmony in body, soul, and spirit. We draw upon archetypal formative forces connected to language and connected to music. We learn to recognize their imprint upon nature and ourselves, and we learn to work with them. In addition to being a beautiful stage art, Eurythmy is also, as you know, a therapeutic modality, a special subject in schools, and a powerful experiential tool used in business consulting and in team building. So in preparation for our work today, I want to go a little bit deeper into this, as I want to do every week, so we have a few thoughts to align ourselves. I said that Eurythmy works upon harmonizing body, soul, and spirit. And I mean that quite consciously. We are all of these. For the few decades that we're alive, we're living inside the body nature. But that's not all that we are. We experience this life of thoughts and feelings inside ourselves. I recently heard someone lovingly refer to that as planet me. What's going on? When I wake up in the morning, what thoughts are congregating inside me for the day? But and that is my soul. But even deeper than all of that is my spirit self on a long, long journey of self-development. And on this long journey of development, I'm trying to educate myself through living in my soul and living in my body in harmony. The true nature of the spirit is connected with the sources of truth, beauty, and goodness. But we don't find those automatically. We have to look for them by cleaning out our filters, if you will. So as we practice Eurythmy, we learn to seek the spiritual forces that have made us and have made the natural world. If you will, understand the language that I like to use for this, I say these are divine forces. These are godly forces. These are spiritual forces of the universe that have worked on every level of every being, on our physical body, on our life body, on our emotional body, and live in our core self. And that's the path of the seeker to strengthen that core self. We find the handiwork, the imprint of these creative forces in everything in the world, in a blossom, in a bee, in the living life forces of the trees. We find these sculptural forces that have made the world. We also find those same forces living inside our body, in our organs, in our digestion. And these forces are the microcosm, which is a perfect reflection of the macrocosm around us. The reason that I always speak about centering your Eurythmy practice in your heart is that your mind is not big enough to encompass all of these things. Your heart is your wise and feeling heart, which is constantly and continually experiencing your biography as it unfolds here on the earth. Now, in Eurythmy, when we learn to know these formative forces, we practice moving them. And these are for these forces, these dynamics are for the eurythmist the same thing that colors are for the painter, the same thing that tones are for the musician. We move these forces, we sculpt with them, we build with them, we tell stories with them. And when we do artistic eurythmy, we put those forces all around us. Our etheric body is big and we send them out. When we do therapeutic eurythmy, we have a different goal. We turn those forces inwards and work upon our own body for health. This is best done, in fact, it's important if we're really doing therapeutic eurythmy, that we do that with the advice of a physician, because these can be very, very powerful forces. And so what we're doing here in these classes is not therapeutic eurythmy per se. That needs to be done individually. But what we're doing here is something between artistic eurythmy and therapeutic eurythmy. It's eurythmy in a path of getting to know your sources in harmony with the creative world, knowing what made you, and learning to draw upon those forces to make your own organs, your own systems healthy and wholesome in harmony with the creative forces that made you. Now, if you have questions about that, you'll need to talk to a therapeutic eurythmist, or you can send me a message, a question, either in the question box here, or if my contact information is on the sheets that you got. So we can continue this dialogue later. So I think we're ready to begin here as I give you the tools to build your own personal practice. Now, I know that we have some people on this call who weren't here with us last week. And so we're going to, of course, review the foundation of what we did last week. And that's the same thing that you would do in any public class. We always start with these foundational elements, including the ones that I did yesterday. In reviewing them, they go deeper into us. We're not talking about head knowledge, of course, but body learning, heart learning. So we'll repeat what we did last week, not quite as deeply, and then we'll continue on to learn some new exercises. And we have a plan for week to week how to take this more deeply. In your handout, in your summary, in your the sheet that I sent you, on page 4, I wrote down everything that we did last week, and you'll see some little asterisks on there. These asterisks tell you these are the most important exercises. If you only want to do 5 minutes of Eurythmy a day, you can just choose a few little gems. But if you want to do more, you can have a practice that lasts a full half hour or longer. On page 3 of your document, I then also wrote the how to do your own personal practice. Do it inside if you can. Choose a quiet place and work so that you can become free of the computer as soon as possible. All right. Good people, are you ready? Stand up and please center yourself in your space. And let's call to mind the Eurythmy meditation. If you want to, you can follow me in the gestures that I do as I speak it, but you don't have to. You can just let the experience of this meditation move through your mind as you hear it. I seek within me creative forces working, creative powers living. The heavy weight of earth tells me through the word of my feet. The forming power of the air tells me through the singing of my hands. And the strength of heaven's light tells me through the thinking of my head how the great world in the human being speaks, sings, thinks. I'll do this one more time. This was a verse created by Rudolf Steiner. It wasn't created as a particular movement exercises, but it was created for its thought content. That's why I said you needn't move it with me, with your body, but with your mind, you can think of these different zones that I'm pointing to with my hands. On the other hand, if you want to do it with your arms, no problem. I point to my heart zone. I seek within me creative forces working, creative powers living. The heavy weight of earth tells me through the speaking of my feet. The forming power of the air tells me through the singing of my hands. The strength of heaven's light tells me through the thinking of my head how the great world in the human being speaks, sings, thinks. And now we take a moment to stand and begin our practice. Our first exercise, weight bears downwards, light streams upwards. feeling ourselves united through our lower body to the earth, through the upper body to the stars. And in the middle, we hold the balance. So step to the right, step to the left, grounding yourself, send your intention deep into the earth. And I would say at least 1 meter, 2 meters. What you send in starts here above your heart and goes down into the earth. And you can feel this like a triangle of strength, and inwardly imagine it to be blue. Think these words: weight bears downwards. So strongly that you couldn't be pushed over. Now, in a complementary and opposite motion, let your arms be drawn upwards, even as a plant is drawn upwards to the sun. In doing so, don't lose your root. Notice that you don't look upwards when you do this. You feel the light shining around your head, but continue to look straight ahead. If you look up, you kind of excarnate. I don't want that. Be here, light above. This energy that goes up from here below the solar plexus. Experience a triangle of yellow light. Light streams upwards. And take a deep breath and feel here where the blue and the yellow overlap that you have a green diamond. In the middle, I hold the balance. Release. Hands and feet. It's good to repeat. Do it 3 times. Remember, you don't speak, you think, you experience, you feel. Step to the right, step to the left, create the blue triangle. Weight bears downwards. Lift your arms, no muscle tension, but a nice clear triangle. Light streams upwards. Take a big belly breath. Feel the green diamond in the middle. I hold the balance. Focus on all 3 areas and let your heart be the strongest. Release and release. Once again, weight bears downwards. This is the power of spirit in matter. Light streams upwards. Your source in the stars. In the middle, I hold the balance. This is where, with heart wisdom, you're feeling the world. Your soul is in balance between spirit and matter. Release and release. Take a deep breath. And we'll continue then. From the heart, you feel, in the heart, you feel as if you're carrying the seed of your soul, a gift of the spirit inside you, your consciousness. And imagine it to be like a very small seed that's been planted in you. And you're going to let this seed from inside yourself expand and grow towards the sun. As it grows, discover how to make your movement soft and light in your arms. And at the same time, your roots have grown into the earth. When your arms are big, you feel extended beyond your fingertips. Your energy body, your etheric body is bigger than your physical. And now imagine that these are your petals and they drop behind you, but you receive into your heart a spiritual gift or seed forces. As you bring them in, reflect on them, hold them until they sprout again. Open wide. Experience how that feels. Open heart, receiving childlike wonder. And let that fall away as you gratefully receive new light into yourself. It becomes personal. And now we're going to let this movement become a little more fluid, opening and closing. Become very small before you open again. Opening. Closing. You can notice how your experience grows and changes. How is it to grow open as you practice moving in time, closing. And rest for a moment. We'll begin it again right away. We can begin large or small. This time we'll begin large. Touching the stars. This time I'll speak a verse. Let it guide your journey. Take sun forces into you. Within my heart shines the light of the sun. Within my soul weaves the warmth of the world. I will breathe the light of the sun. I will feel the warmth of the world. Light of the sun pour into me. Warmth of the world flow through me. And at the end, stand straight and tall, aligned with the stars above your head and the earth beneath your feet. Now, with this, we are beginning to feel how we can pour feelings into our arms. And with this, I'd like to begin the exploration of a few of the sounds of language. And we'll be building upon that in the weeks ahead. And I'll speak more about them beginning next week. But today I'd like to teach to you the vowel sound ah and the vowel sound a. So the vowels are the expression of our soul to the world. Our soul lives in the world in many different feelings, in wonder, in anger, in strength, in love. And these different feelings that we have are archetypes. Sometimes we speak about them as if they were the fairy godmothers that live in our emotional life. Who am I if I'm an open child and the next minute something has made me angry These are all the colors that live in planet me. And they all stem from archetypal experiences or feelings. And so we'll begin by learning the vowels in the sequence that they appear when we speak the vowels from inside out. Ah is the most open vowel. A is a little bit more, comes closer. E is upright. With O, I have to round my mouth and move my mouth, my breath a little further forward. With oo, even further forward. That was a very quick explanation. We'll deal with that more next week with the explanation. But these vowels are in the sequence A, E, O, U, the sequence in which they appear in the alphabet of most Romance languages, German, Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, and so on. A, E, O, U. A, the primal vowel, the vowel of first beginnings. So, how can we experience the innocence of a child, the innocence of a beginning? Imagine the child, the infant with open eyes, vulnerable, looking at the world and unable to digest it yet. Maybe here with your hands. You can hold your hands here and then with childlike wonder, open your heart and express that through your arms. This open angle is the eurythmic correlate to the sound ah. And let me give you another time through. Ah. Now imagine yourself thinking of stars. You open your arms, your heart. Say, I would love to let that starlight come into me. Then I can understand it better. With open heart, you open your arms and let that light flow into you. What you give to the world is your openness, and then your heart receives what it is open to. Now, to do this well in Eurythmy, just like a painter has to work carefully with all the nuances of color, in Eurythmy we have to work to make the sound accurately. So, please don't look up, feel up, but don't let your eyes go up. Feel that openness, otherwise you excarnate, as I said. Feel that openness. And I want you to look for a size that's not too big, because if we tried to speak this, it would say, it's just too big. This is the sound, corresponds to ah. It's too narrow, it's just All right, try again with me. Practicing this teaches us an archetype of wonder. Open to a star. Ah. Imagine it pouring into you. Thank you. Good. And again, without me. Ah. And again, remember, you don't speak it. What normally out through your prana when you speak from the throat, we're going to silence so that it comes out in a different part of your body through your arms. Try again. Ah. wonder. Ah is not only upwards, can also be downwards. So let's open an ah ground. Ah. And now let's open forwards. Ah. Friends, notice this isn't ah. This isn't ah. Some people say, well, I know Eurythmy. Ah. Okay, that's not ah. Ah is the movement and the feeling of the movement. And when I'm here and it has rung out, it's finished. Not just a static position. Let's go on from the ah. Let's create the next sound, the sound A, the sound of boundaries. So from this, let's create again this ah openness, which we need every day of our lives. And now, if we lived constantly in this experience, we would never wake up. We need to separate. So we create a gate, a boundary. We cross our arms here and feel I'm inside myself. The world is out there. And I can create this doorway. This is a gate. So let's go straight into the A. A. This A can be fierce or it can be kind, but it must be clear. A. I'm inside, the world is outside. A. This is very helpful for people who have boundary issues. If you tend to be a little soft and unformed, practice this A. A. And again. A. When I work with children, I would go around and I would push against them and see if they can actually hold that, or if their muscle tension is too weak and they can be thrown off balance. Are you strong? Let's go from ah to A. Ah, to the stars above. A. And again, ah, I open to the stars. A. To be clear, I can do all these sounds in different sounds. So let's do the ah in front. Ah. A. Or below. Ah. A. And last week, we then took the next step and learned the sound E, the sound that grows out of the centered heart. Consider the ah is the openness, the A, I experience myself here, the world there, but I'm not really in myself yet until I know who I am in my own heart. When I know that, then I can balance heaven and earth with the E. E. Remember, the E is the signature of the conscious self who knows that we are in balance between heaven and earth. Start with your hands here. And both hands move at the same speed, one to the heavens, one to the earth. E. I am here. And try it with the other arm up. E. E. And the other arm up. E. Good. And now let's put them together. Ah, open to the spirit. A, boundaries from inside out. E. Good. Let's take a next step. Last week we began a simple poem, and I want to keep building on that each week. This was the poem about being living on the earth between light and darkness. Let me repeat the poem for you. The poem was, into the depths of the earth leadeth the path that we tread, while from the heights of heaven our star shines from afar. We stand on the earth. We are chained in matter, but we are free. For we go between darkness and light, and of darkness and light are we. And the path that we tread leads us on till we come once again to the light, and ever descend we anew, and ever return to the light. So let's move that again as we did last week. You begin by establishing an imaginary spot in your space where you are standing as the place in balance in the center of a cross. In front is the sense world. Behind you is the dark world, the dream world, the spirit world. Right and left are earthly space. Do you remember that? And if you don't, those who weren't with us last week, you'll find more material about it in the text. So if we walk forwards, we walk into the sense world. Let's take 3 steps forward. 1, 2, into the depth of the earth. And 3 steps back. Lead the paths that we tread. Now, feel the backspace. While from the heights of heaven, our star shines from afar. Here we're practicing the difference between walking forwards and back. Let's try again. Into the depths of the earth. You're going to the sense world. Go back leads the path that we tread. This is the path of your consciousness, of your home place. Go back into the spirit world, even as we do every night when we sleep, while from the heights of heaven, feel your back open, bring some good light with you as you come forward, shine from afar our star. Now take 3 steps to your left. We stand on the earth. Take 5 steps to your right. We are chained in matter, but we are free. Do you remember? Now go forwards. For we go between darkness. 5 steps back and light. 5 steps forward and of darkness. 5 steps back and light. 3 steps to the middle, and again, find your ground. Are we? do that again. I don't want to rush through this experience. Again, you start with the intention to feel yourself in the different dimensions of space. That light above, weight below, the sense world in front of you, the dark spirit world behind you, which is actually bright for your spiritual eyes. And here to the right and the left, you have this world of humanity, of everyday life that you live in. And so let's walk forwards into the depths of the earth, as if you're getting heavier and grounded. Go back, lead the paths that we tread, your place of balance, where your witness is always living. Go back to the star space, while from the heights of heaven, our star shines from afar. At this moment, you can feel, oh yeah, I do have access. I can carry that in my daily life. To your left, we stand on the earth. Now let's make an A with our hands as we go sideways. We are chained in matter. And we come back to the center with the word E. But we are free. Forwards, where we go between darkness. All the way back with 5 steps. And light. And of darkness. 5 steps back again. And light are we. Feel yourself. Feel yourself in the center of your biography, in the center of your being. Good. One more time. From this neutral position, we go into life, into the depths of the earth. Lead the paths that we tread. Stars behind you, while from the heights of heaven, now you can have an awe, our star shines from afar. You have light. To your left, we stand on the earth. To the right, 5 steps all the way out. We are chained in matter, in necessity and laws, but we are free. 4, we go between darkness and light and of darkness. And light are we. You have imprinted this strength now into your heart. And so, as we close, I'd like to do the peace exercise with you that we worked on last week. And I want to dedicate that to making our hearts become capable of carrying peace through the world. We did this last week. We'll do it again every week. You can also find it in my work on YouTube, for instance, the peace exercise. So imagine the stars above your head, earth below your feet. To your right and the left, the world of humanity, the world of nature. In front of you, the sense world. Behind you, the spirit world. Your movement affects the entire space that you live in. So feel your heart, which is feeling the world. Now join me in this peace exercise. As you move your hands, change the space, make it everything around you be soft and strongly kind. May peace be below me. May peace be above me. May peace be all around me. May peace be before me. Feel your back. May peace be behind me. May peace be within me. And let's make our hearts strong, loving, wise, enough to bear what's going on in the world because we know what and who we are. Dear friends, I wanted to bring the exercise of conscious walking today as well. That is in the package of material that I brought for you today that you got to download. You'll find it. You're welcome to begin working on it, but we're going to take the last few minutes for questions and answers. So we'll get to the conscious walking, the threefold walking to next week. But I'd like to invite Jason Yates to come in, yet he's going to moderate the question and answers. So Jason, can you come in?
Hi there. Yes. So we're going to take questions on the Q&A panel if you have that version of Zoom. Or if you don't have the updated version, you can also use the chat to type in your questions. I'm sure we'll have more questions than we have time. We'll try to keep track of them all. So we already have one question.
Okay.
And that is the space in front, sense world. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Yes. Notice that in the 6 directions of the body, we relate to space in different ways. Our front space is different from our back space, our right hand, our left hand, and so on. And so we work in differentiated ways. What does it mean that the sense world is in front of us? It's actually quite evident when we just think about it. Our eyes look forwards, our nose, our mouth, our hands are built to go forwards, our feet. This is the vision, the place that we walk into every day. That's our computers, our sense world, our cars, gives us so much stress. And in contrast, the back space is a wholly different experience. We have to guess and sense and send out feelers to know what's back there. But we can also open what I call the back door of the heart and access these other unseen dimensions. Please try to work with that. It's really fun. Jason.
We have quite a few questions. Here's a couple maybe you can get to. Is it important to keep your eyes open?
Yes. If you shut your eyes, you go, as we even know from brain physiology, you go into an altered state, and we don't want to go there. In Eurythmy, we want to be really present with our feeling, with our sensations. So keep your eyes open, even though it's hard for many people.
So, does it matter which arm is in front for the ah? Or is it the A? I'm not sure.
The A. No, it doesn't
written
matter.
The English letter A, but they might mean ah. So if you're the anonymous attendee, you can clarify that and we'll come back to it.
Ah doesn't have one hand above or below. Ah is, of course, symmetrical. There's not one in front or in back. But with the A, it doesn't matter. We were actually really schooled to say, no, you can do what's normal or what works for your body on the A. The right and left side are different. Right side, will, the liver side of the body, left side, the heart side. So they're different, but we become fluid in using both of them in developing their qualities.
So this is kind of a follow-up to the different directions. There are two
Yes.
questions that kind of go together. One is, how do I feel the difference between the heavens above and the spiritual world behind?
Uh-huh.
And then also, how is front different than side? Sense world seems earthly. How is that different than side/nature world?
Oh, I love that question. Okay, going back is the backspace and the above space are indeed related. When I go up, I feel the stars, but when I go back, I feel what I called a moment ago, the back door of the heart. I try to look from here and access this whole, to see the space behind me. It's a space of mystery. It's a space of unknowing. It's a space of exploration. And yes, it's related to the spirit world, but it has a different dimensionality to it. We'll work more on that next time. I'd love to work on that more. As for going sideways, this is another plane of space. And if we imagine it to be a flat space, it's actually spanned between front space and back space. If you can imagine this space almost paper thin. And in moving in these directions, I'm moving to my will side, to my heart side, but I'm holding like a plane, a balance, as if I'm trying to mediate both sense world and spirit world, but I'm not free to go into either one of them. Great question. Once again, we worked on that a little bit last week, and I'm happy to come back to that a bit more next week.
So we have two more maybe we can do.
Okay.
The one is with the E, is the upper hand's palm facing forward?
Thank you. Good question. I do it facing forward. It's okay to face it outwards. And once again, Eurythmy is an art. And so we can express it like this or like this. E, E. But I like to have both my right and left hands in the same plane. Yeah. So if I have the hand facing forward, I actually would have this one complementary facing back. And if I'm going sideways, I have them both with a side angle.
All right, and maybe the final question is, one person writes, I'm noticing that I'm having grief moving through the eurythmy. In which direction do I send these emotions toward?
You're having, I think you said grief, right?
Grief, yes.
Yeah. Altogether, it is not uncommon for people to have very strong feelings when they do eurythmy, because it's as if it opens up the whole soul world. But the wisdom of your spirit is, I will even use the word maternal, it will hold and cherish and support you through those feelings. So don't go deeply into them when you're doing eurythmy. Acknowledge them, feel them, carry them, but know that your inner self is going to go through them and heal them. Many times in a class, or many times, it's not unusual for a person to fall into tears when they do eurythmy. That's great. It shows that they've accessed a really vulnerable part of themselves that has been perhaps covered up or wounded for a long time. It's okay to find that. But when you're doing eurythmy, try to quiet that and move with a deep, calm breath through all of that. Afterwards, you might choose to journal about it, to digest it a little bit. And if I didn't say it, breathe, breathe.
All right. Thank you. That's all the questions we have.
Thank you so much. And there's so much more to bring. I hope you found this fruitful.
Well, thank you so much, Cynthia. I could feel today the quiet mood and the receptivity and some kind of solidarity in the air with all of us and beyond. So it was quite amazing. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone so much. We are broadcasting from Fair Oaks, California, and Jason joined us from Vancouver, Canada. Thank you so much, Jason.
And I'd love to think how everyone is coming in from around the world. It's extraordinary.
Yes, we have so many people from Europe and Asia and Australia. So thank you all so much for joining and spreading Eurythmy and the power of